hello, and welcome to the Coaxum Report. I am super delighted that today I'll be joined by a kidpreneur, Jada Germain, and I refer to her affectionately as my niece. She is phenomenal. She has a business called Jewel by Jada, and she is also the author of Here to Stay. And I am just so excited to highlight all that she's doing and try to encourage and inspire her because I know that she is truly going to be a phenomenal entrepreneur that is going to change the game as we see it. Welcome, Jada. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. My name is Jada Jermaine. I'm the author of the book Hair to Stay, Jada's Hair Salon Volume 1. I'm also the founder of my personal bracelet business, Jewel by Jada LLC. And before I start, I just wanted to thank you, Miss Terry Coaxum, for having me on your show today in today's episode, the Coaxum Reports. Thank
Okay,
you.
so hold on for a second, Jada. So before we dig in and give them the full experience and the journey that you are a part of, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So for those of you that are just tuning in to the Coaxum Report, you can watch us on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, and you can also download the app www.rtv.network and to watch us live. And so again, Jada just gave you a brief description of who she is and what she's doing. But before we get into her experience in entrepreneurship, Jada, I just want you to tell the listening audience how old you are and what has given you the passion and the direction to want to just embark on entrepreneurship.
Well, I'm 13 years old, and what made me want to start a business and be an entrepreneur was because as a black girl, a lot of us, a lot of people, they set us down to a place where they think that we are not as powerful to have a business. And I felt
Mhm.
like as a young entrepreneur at my age, I felt like it would be good to show that, a black girl can have a business because not just good on my end, but for my other black brothers and sisters, it will show that we can have a business and we are able to do things like other people. So that's what made me passionate about having a business, to show other people that as a black girl in America, we're able to do the things that other people can do. So
Absolutely. I am truly inspired by you. I had the pleasure of having Jada join me for an entrepreneurship conference at the UN. And Jada, I want to talk a little bit about your book, Here to Stay. I see you have a fabulous hairstyle. Let's just start there, right? And so, as a Black woman, especially that has a natural hairstyle, sometimes I find it kind of hard to really, one, style my hair in a way that I am perceived to be the powerful woman that I am. And so I also want to talk about it from the standpoint of a young girl, a teenager, a kidpreneur that has dared to write this book, Here to Stay. Like what inspired you to want to write about hair, to write about your experience, your journey, to encourage and to empower not just young girls but young women period across the spectrums, if they're black or brown, just some melanin magic. Talk to me about what made you write this book.
well, again, as a black girl, especially in middle school, I feel like there's a lot of negative approaches to like our hair, and people think that we can't wear our hair like this, and we can't do this, and we can't do that because of our hair and stuff like that. And people would look at us a certain way and stereotype us based on our hair and think, oh, that's the girl with the afro, so she nappy headed. Don't do this. She can't do that. She can't do this. They look at us a certain way and stereotype us and profile us based on how we look, and think that, oh, because we look this way that we're not able to do this, or because we look this way, this is based on who we are because of how we look, and like
Wow.
how we dress and our hair. So I wanted to write this book to show people that not just girls but women as well, because a lot of women had this effect from when they were little and didn't have like a way to share it out. So
Right.
even though it's like a kid's book, it can affect all ages, because even women are affected by the place where they think that they can't wear their natural hair because
Right.
of how people look at them and perceive them.
You
So
know,
I
this
just
is
want to
powerful, man. You're only 13 years old
thank you.
and you're able to capture an entire experience, right? And I mean, I say that because growing up in South Carolina, your hair defines you in certain ways, and even now in business, right? There was a time that you couldn't wear your afro puffs that you just described, or if you had a braided style, it was is considered an ethnic hairstyle, right? And so you were placed in a box because of it. But you're 13 years old, and you're in middle school, and you've decided to write about this experience, not just from the standpoint of a kidpreneur, right?
Right.
But from the standpoint of wanting to change the way that we're perceived, right? So our hair should not define who we are as a person. And I mean, this book is amazing. It has a lot of great nuggets in it for individuals that are looking at their hair and thinking about what your next step should be. So basically in this book, you're saying that you can be anything you want to be. You can be as powerful as you want to be. And it's not your hairstyle that will define that. And so talk to me a little bit about that journey, because you took this on as, in middle school. And so I'm in awe. I am so elated to be having this conversation with you, because I can say without fair contradiction that you are going to be a phenomenal speaker that is really going to change the game,
Thank
and
you.
not just about hairstyle, because you have decided in middle school that you want to change the perception of not just how you're seen, but how the world is seeing individuals because of their hair. So I want you to talk a little bit about what's in the book. And I will encourage anyone to please go out and purchase the book. You can find it on McBrideStories.com. So this is Jada's book. I encourage you to go and get the book, and it truly is a powerful piece of literature. And so I want you to talk a little bit more, Jada, about this book and about this experience, because you took on a whole culture, so to speak,
Right.
right? And the perception of a culture just in writing this book in middle school. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
So in the book, we have certain fields that we talk about race-based hair discrimination in. So it's for boys and girls, and in certain fields, I feel that us we are discriminated against about our hair, and we're perceived as in a different way because of our hair. So I think the fields that we talk about in our book is sports, in schools, and in the workforce. So like in
Mm-hmm.
schools, it shows how black girls get bullied because of their hair and stuff like that. It talks about in
Right.
sports because for boys too, how sometimes in sports the referee might look at your hair a certain way and be like, no, you can't play the game because they think that it could be
Wow.
distracting, or they think that it just doesn't look good for the game, which has nothing, and our hair has nothing to do with how you play the game. So that's another thing that
Wow.
it talks about. It talks about in the workforce how people feel, black girls and black boys feel that you have to wear a certain hairstyle for like an interview because you want the person who's trying to employ you to make you look good. So they want you to like straighten your hair for the interview so that you could get the job and stuff like that. And I just don't think that's right, because your hair has nothing to do with your attitude, and it doesn't have nothing to do with how you act towards other people and how you could do the job, how you could play the game. And just in school and embracing yourself and having an education, your hair has nothing to do with none of those three things. So it's like, why should
Wow. Wait a minute, Jada, because you just touched a lot of nuggets. Like, you're so young and passionate and energetic about it that you don't realize that you're really like glossing over a lot of nuggets. And so one of the things I like to do in the show, Jada, is that I like to highlight the nuggets of my guests. So the individuals that and the other thing that I didn't mention is this show is seen throughout all of the Caribbean, throughout all of the United States and Southeast Asia show. It's seen throughout the world. And so for some individuals that are in Africa that are watching this, or someone that's in Asia that's watching this, or someone that's here in the United States or in the Caribbean, I want them to really capture the nuggets that you are dropping right now. So I want you to go back, because you talked about race based discrimination. Like you address, just in talking about one's hair, you address a whole bunch of things. And so I want to kind of unpack that because I know, being in the field that I am, because I'm in government. I was in government. I'm now, an entrepreneur, and so I run my own business, and it's about business development. It's about teaching and growing and empowering individuals. And so I want you to go back, because you talked about race-based discrimination based on your hair. You talked about the discrimination in a workplace because of it. You even went back to childhood, right? And so a lot of us have these perceptions or stereotypes about individuals based on their hair. You talked about being bullied because of your hairstyle, because of how you're showing up, right? And then you also talked about, people wanting to change their authentic self, wanting to change who they are, or showing up in an interview by straightening their hair or doing other things, or putting on a wig or whatever it is, right? To have this certain look, the look that they perceive as a successful look, or the look of a person that they believe will get hired for a certain position. But what you're saying is that your hair has nothing to do with your attitude. Your hair has nothing to do with your skill set or your qualities, your knowledge, your skills and ability, right? Your hair doesn't have anything to do with that, but yet people are being discriminated against because of their hair. So you dropped all these nuggets, and then you were just going, no, we got to slow down, because
Yeah.
this book addresses a lot of stuff that you, as a middle school student, is not only capturing in this book that you wrote, but it's also an experience that adults like myself have experienced personally. I remember there was a time that you couldn't wear a certain hairstyle in the armed forces, or you couldn't wear a turban on your head, despite it was your religious beliefs, right? You were not able to wear a certain hairstyle to an interview because it was perceived as being ethnic. And so a lot of people straighten their hair instead of showing up in their afro puffs or in the braids, right? And this type of discrimination really took away from the full experience of individuals and their knowledge, their skills and ability. They weren't able to be their authentic selves. So they were asked to be something that they were not. And here you are, Jada. Like, this is powerful. Like, you're showing up and you're saying, be your authentic self. You're saying, take take who you are and show up as that person, and don't let anyone change that for you. And that's powerful, coming
Thank
from a middle school, young lady, because adults are not. I know some adults that wouldn't dare take on that as what they're going to move forward in. And so I want to thank you, first of all, for showing up in this experience, really explaining it in a way. I remember there was a show, you probably don't remember it, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, right? So that show, some people didn't show up in that experience. Like, they're like, a middle schooler is like schooling adults on how to just be your authentic self. And also saying to the workplace, you should not be judging people based on their hair, because they're showing up to do a job and they have their knowledge, skills, and ability to do that job. And that's what you should be judging them on, not their
you.
hair, not the color of their skin, not their culture, not their ethnicity. So all of these things are being, weaved into the stories that you're telling about here. And so I just want to pause you for a minute, because I know you get ready to jump into some more nuggets, but some of us are not smarter than fifth graders, so we want you to slow down
Yeah.
and give us the full experience of what this book is about. And we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Jewel by Jada, but there's so much more in this book that I want to unpack. So you're saying, show up as your authentic self. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't be afraid to wear your hair in the style that you're wearing it in. But then you're saying to adults and to individuals and to even other children, you should not be bullying someone based on their hair, right? You should not be
Right.
bullying anyone, period. That's number one, right? So that's for everyone. You shouldn't be bullying. You shouldn't be discriminating against individuals based on their hair. In fact, you should be embracing culture, because that's what makes us the beautiful mosaic people that we are, right? Because everybody is different. And so you're saying accept the differences, and through it, you'll be able to have a better experience in your workplace, a better experience at school, and more importantly, as a kidpreneur, you're saying you will have a better experience moving forward. So I want to thank you for that. So what else would you like to highlight about Here to Stay? Because that in itself is powerful, right? So you're talking about not just being you're here staying, but you are here to stay, right?
Right.
In that statement. So talk to me a little bit more about what that means.
I just want to show that you can embrace your natural self, especially in society today, because people feel that they cannot embrace who they are without the makeup, without the extensions, without anything. They can't embrace who they are because they feel that people are going to look at them a certain way, and they're always looking at based off what other people think about them, but then don't look how, who you actually are. Like if you like that, but you're worried about what other people think, at the end of the day, you're not them. Everyone is unique in their different way, and I
Hmm.
feel like if you're unique in your different way, embrace that instead of looking at what other people want. Like you don't need validation from other people to
Wow. That's
look a
powerful.
certain way. So it's like
Wow.
stop getting validation from people for you to embrace yourself, because when you embrace who you are, it's like you probably because you're your own unique self. God made you a certain way so you could be unique
That's
in your
right.
own way. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. Like even my mom, like we look alike, but we still different in our certain ways. We're
Right.
unique in all different ways, and I feel like embrace that uniqueness because it can go a long way. Someone else could be this, and then someone else could be something else that's way more powerful than what you're doing. So it's like embrace it and stop going off of what other people think. That's most of the message of the book. Like, so stop going off what other people think, basically.
Right. And it's important that you say that because I know I teach at Medgar College. And I always have situations where I talk to my students about encouraging and being empowering and helping each other. And I have students that'll come and say, oh, so and so said, or this was said about me, or whatever. And I always say to my students, I said, what people say about you is none of your business. It's what you feel about yourself. So embracing that self, like feeling confident and comfortable in who you are. And so, and we, throughout this book, you're talking about being here to stay. You're talking about you're here being here to stay, you as a person being here to stay, and then asking individuals to be tolerant of each other, asking individuals to embrace who you are and not try to be something that you're not. Because there's one thing about being authentic. You can't, being authentic means not being unauthentic, right? So if I'm embracing my authentic self, I can't show up as someone else. I
Right.
have to show up as who I am. And so you're encouraging individuals throughout this book.
You muted yourself. You're mute.
Wow, I don't know how I did that. So this book you can find at McBride's. It's McBrideStories.com. This is a Jada's book, Here to Stay, and it really is a powerful experience when she's talking about being your authentic self, showing up as your authentic self, when she's encouraging individuals to be tolerant of each other. And throughout this book, she talks about her experience, and I think that this is why it's a powerful piece. And then she's showing up authentically as herself with her natural braids, right?
Right.
No
And
makeup,
also,
no eyelashes, none of that. She's showing up authentically as a kidpreneur that is literally living her experience. She's not just talking about it, she's living her experience. You wanted to say something else, Shada?
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I
No.
also wanted to say if you guys are interested in the book and wanted to purchase it, that you guys could also find it off my website, www.collectionsbyjada.com. And I also want to say at the end of the book, if you do purchase it, you'll see some key takeaways in the book for Jada's Hair Salon Volume 1. It will say things like embrace your beauty, fix your
Hmm.
crown and don't put it down, be happy to be nappy, be proud of who you are, and be comfortable in the skin that you are in. So those are just some little things I just wanted to say that can help also to like make you feel like have some self esteem in yourself instead of like thinking that you need validation from everybody.
Yes, thank you, thank you, and I think that's a really, really powerful message. So I thank you. And there are some key takeaways. Please, go on to Jada's website, see what she's doing. But more importantly, I encourage you to purchase the book, share it with the young person in your life, especially one that may be struggling, right? So she's giving some key takeaways and some tips about being your authentic self, embracing who you are, wearing your crown, not putting it down. Go ahead, girl. Really some great takeaways and nuggets from a kidpreneur, a youngpreneur that is really thinking forward, thinking not about just her experience and what she's going through, but trying to encourage you and empower others through her experience. And so she's talking about it as a kidpreneur, but she's also talking about it as a business owner, and then someone that's encouraging those that are moving forward that are not as self-confident as she is, to understand that in order to gain your confidence, you have to take it. You have to understand who you are, be authentic to yourself, and be authentic with yourself, right? So I want to thank you so much, Jada, again for sharing Here to Stay. And this is volume one. So we know there's a lot more volumes to come, as our young kidpreneur is, rising up the ladder to be the multimillionaire that we're speaking into existence, and, I see Oprah in her future.
Thank
So I
you.
want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for sharing that experience with us. And so, Jada, you also have another business called Jewel by Jada. And so I want
Mhm.
to kind of understand how you came about the concept of designing your own jewelry and wanting to share that experience with others. And what does that feel like, when you see your piece or when you put on your piece? Like, what does that feel like to you? Wait, I see them, I'm being told by my producer that we need to take a break. So we're going to take a quick break, Jada, and we'll be right back to go into Jewel by Jada. Thank you so much for
Okay.
the Coaxum
Thank
Report.
you.
You're welcome.
ATL runs on V Plus Energy. We love our home and our people. We at V Plus made it our mission to provide healthy energy to our city, so that's what we did, and you all love it. 5 fruits, 5 vegetables, 5 vitamins, it's healthy, tasty energy. But don't just take my word. Listen for yourself.
Man, I tried a lot of energy drinks. Tastes good. That's one of the biggest things. Refreshing, and it's not too strong. So I like it, man.
People, it's Alexander Aperture, the commercial king, and check this out, man. We're here with V Plus Energy. Look, you try to get your energy up. You out here at a competition like this, man. Field day. You're gonna need something to get a little extra kick. Make sure you get that V Plus Energy. That way.
Hey, what's up? It's Lady Johnson Russian, and we are checking in with the B Plus Energy drink. The drink is amazing. I love that it don't give you the jitters, the energy you need. If you haven't tried it, please check it out. The drink is very good. I like the peach flavor. And so far, I'm trying to see if the energy kicks in.
I guess that energy kicked in. Now it's time to get you some. Visit drinkvplus.com.
ICABA, ICABA, stands for the International Career and Business Alliance. And basically, it's really about building, activating relationships that grow wealth.
What is Akamba doing? Akamba is putting you in an environment where you can rub shoulders, you can actually talk to wealth creators, to entrepreneurs who may look like you, who may come from circumstances like you, who may come from an environment like your environment. And then once you go ahead and grab that baton, you might say, well, this is possible. This individual over here did it, and now I can do it. So ICABA is raising our level of vision, and they're doing a fantastic.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dance Hall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Delicioso, 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 delicioso.
V Plus Energy. With 5 fruits, 5 vegetables, 5 vitamins, you no longer have to sacrifice your health for energy. Drink V Plus. Healthy energy. No sacrifice.
It tastes good.
So nice, so nice. So nice, so nice. Virgin Islands nice. So nice.
Give me more. We about to blow. Give me more. Give me more. We got one life, so we not gon' waste it. Live a large life, the rich and the famous. Oh, 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 oh.
Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. For those of you that are just tuning in, you can catch us on Amazon Fire TV, on Android TV. You can also catch us on Roku. I encourage you to download the app, OurTV.network. And for those that are listening on the radio, you can catch us on WSTX Bloomberg. So again, I'm delighted to have Jada Germain on the show today. She's a kidpreneur. She's doing some phenomenal things. She's enlightening, inspiring, and encouraging all of us with our hair, because her book Here to Stay, which we've been talking about in the first portion of this segment, Jada has dropped a lot of nuggets. You know, she talked about wearing your crown and not putting it down. She talked about, empowering and encouraging and showing up with your authentic self. I am truly, truly, truly happy to have Jada on the show. Jada is addressing a lot of different issues. I know, Jada, especially during COVID, there was a lot of young people that were experiencing and still are experiencing some social and emotional concerns. And so in this book, you're addressing all of that. You're addressing how to be empowered and encouraged by showing up as your authentic self. You're encouraging folks to be tolerant of each other and not to judge each other based on their look, based on their ethnicity, based on any of those things. And so I'm truly inspired. If you want to get a copy of Jada's book, Here to Stay, you can get it at www.collectionsbyjada. That's JAIDA.com. So I encourage you to go into Jada's website and see what she's doing. She's encouraging and inspiring everyone. And so she's asking you to be comfortable in your skin. And I'm telling you, this kidpreneur is doing big thing. She is
Thank you.
showing out and being her authentic self. And as you can see, she's wearing her crown and not putting it down.
Thank you.
So thank you, Jada. So Jada, in the first part, we talked about being here to stay. Here, as in you're here, HAIR, to stay, right? Because your here is always going to be a part of who you are, right? But also being here to stay, HERE. And so I think this message is really powerful and really clear. And I want to thank you so much for sharing that on a
Thank
Coaxum
you.
Report. Now, when we took a quick break, but just before we took a quick break, I wanted to start going into the next part of your business. And again, I already told you she's a multimillionaire. I see Oprah in her future. So not only is
Thank you.
did she write a book, Here to Stay, but she also has created her own line of jewelry, and it's called Jeweled by Jada. And so I was asking Jada when we took the quick break. I was asking her, what does that feel like? Well, like, what does it feel like to create your own piece, to wear your own piece, or even to see your own piece on others? Like, what is that? What does that feel like for a kidpreneur that understands that something as simple as a bracelet or a pendant or anything that kind of defines you, can inspire others. So talk to me about Jewel by Jada. Like, how did that come about? And what do you want others to take away from that experience and that journey that you're on right now?
Well, I always wanted to start a business, and in my middle school, my previous middle school that I went to, I had um a little assembly, and Jamila T. Davis was there for the assembly, and basically she helps people in schools. She goes to plenty of different schools and basically helps the kids. She picks out kids and basically helps them make a business. So I was one of the kids that was picked for one of the slots, and she basically gave us a few weeks to like learn how to make a business. She had one of her people come and like teach us like how to make a business, the profits, and everything that we need to know to like for a business and how to start one. And then at the end, she gave us a $200 gift card, Amazon gift card, to basically give us the money so that we can have a start for our business. And ever since then, like she inspired me so much because I always wanted to start a business, but like I never knew how. And she helped me with that for the start of my business. And ever since then, since I've been consistent with my business, kept buying product and everything. And then ever since I made an LLC and it made it into my own business. So she really like helped me make a business. So I really appreciate her. Like she's been one of the people that really
Hold on, wait a minute. Our kidpreneur has a limited liability corporation. So I know individuals that have their own business that have not did their articles of organization to say that this is a business and to get their EIN number, because this is like the startup. So Jada's really dropping some more nuggets on those of us that actually are thinking about starting our business, and maybe we have a sole proprietorship, and so we haven't thought about the next step. And so this experience Jada is talking about, she's like, okay, so this individual came in and she inspired me to want to do more. And then she gave you the seed funding, the $200 Amazon gift card as your seed money to kind of to pour into your experience in your business. And then she also had someone come in to talk to you about finances and business finances, and
right.
what you needed to know to be successful in your business. And I got to tell you, Jada, that's huge. That's huge. I just did a 12-week program with the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce where I taught 14 young women, minority women, how to grow their business. Some had started, some had an idea about starting their business, and me and my team, we worked with them to build out their business, to do their business pitch, and then at the end, there were three winners that won $7,500, and there was one winner that won $15,000 to pour into their business, right? And so, I did have, in full disclosure, I had Jada. Jada is my niece because her mother is my sister from another mister, right? And so I'm always about encouraging and inspiring young people. And so I brought Jada to class And Jada, tell us a little bit about what that felt like being in and that experience, and then having these women ask you questions about your business. Like, how did that feel? I mean, Jada's dropping a lot of nuggets today. She's saying, "Get ready, so you don't have to be ready." So this whole experience with having this individual, what's her name again? Because we want to shout her out. They came into the class.
Jamila- Dr. Jamila T. Davis.
Dr. Jamila T. Davis, who came into the school, to these young entrepreneurs, these kidpreneurs, and kind of planted that seed of entrepreneurship at such a young age. And not only did she plant the seed, she also gave them someone to kind of help them start their business, right? And then she gave some seed money. So talk to me about your experience with the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce when you came to pop in to kind of see what we were doing over there.
Well, I felt good because I felt like people were asking me questions as a 13-year-old instead of me as a 13-year-old asking them questions. So I kind of felt honored, to, have a business and inspire women that are older than me and people that are older than me that they could start their business as well, especially how young I am. I also it felt good because I was glad to be around a woman who wanted to do the same thing as me because a lot of times like when I'm around a certain crowd, they're like I know I'm still young, so like I do things that young people do as well, like on their phone and stuff like that. But I'm still focused on my life and my future. And I feel
Right.
like a lot of kids are not connected to that because they don't have that type of connection or people to do that. And well, you're one of the people that helped me do that and like help me be around that crowd to help me sow into my future and be help basically in my future and do things to like be bigger and stuff like that. And to be around a crowd of women who were trying to do that as well, it was really good. So I appreciate you for taking me to the UN and bringing me into that as well.
Well, let me just say this, Jada. I mean, my definitive purpose in life is to empower and to encourage others. And we get that from Bishop, right? So our bishop is, our archbishop is Archbishop George Malachi Shorts, the Pilgrim Cathedral, right? And he pours into us all the time. He encourages us and he inspires us. And so my goal in life, Jada, is to die empty. I want to be able to pour all of my experiences into you and into other individuals because I realize, like the talents in the Bible, I don't want them to come back and I buried my talent and am no longer able to use it. I want to be able to use it. And so, working for the first Black president of the United States in the role of regional advocate for the Small Business Administration was a huge deal. Like I got an opportunity to travel to New York, to New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands and inspire and to encourage other people. And also working for the majority leader now, Chuck Schumer, as the first African American woman to hold that job and being able to be a part of that experience and all that it entails working in the government, having a passionate senator that cared about individuals and allowed me to work with young people, to work with our seniors, to work with educators was a huge deal. And then, of course, working for the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office and running the Community Relations Bureau, as well as being a community liaison when I start, all of those experiences collectively, I'm able to pour it into everybody I come in contact with. And so pouring that into you is an honor.
Thank you.
So you think that it's an honor for me to share that with you, but it's an honor for me to share that with you as well, and with all the individuals that I come in contact with. Like I said, I've taught at John Jay and Bryan and Stratton, but more importantly, I teach now at Medgar Evers College. And every day I run into young people that are not as focused as you are, but because they're, in my path, I make sure that I'm pouring Jada's experience into those individuals. I'm letting individuals know, there's this young kidpreneur that wrote this book, Here to Stay, right? And I want them to be inspired by that. And I want them to go and pick up the book and to understand that they can wear their crown and not put it down, to be comfortable, to be confident, right? And so all of these experiences that you are writing about in this book and what you've experienced through Jewel by Jada, I want to make sure that we're sharing that with everyone. And so a way to do that is today, like sharing that right now on our TV network to individuals that are going to see this across the world. They'll be able to see what Jada's doing here, in the county of Kings and in Queens and in Manhattan, throughout all of the 62 counties that are New York. But more importantly, they get to hear it from you. Like they get to hear from this kidpreneur that has dared to make a difference, right? You're wearing your hair, like you're being your authentic self, like you showed up in your experience. And so now you're telling us about not only just having a business, right? So it's one thing, I'm just gonna play around with this experience. I'm gonna have this business. You're like, no, 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 there's a profit part of this, right? So I tell my students all the time that if you have a business and you're not making money, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. But this individual was able to say to you, here is how you make a profit on your business, and here's some seed money to help you get started. So talk to me about your pieces. Talk to me. So you wanted to start a business, you wasn't quite clear how to do that. She came in, she helped you with that. You started your business. Jewel by Jada is phenomenal, right? So talk to me about what that means to you to have your own jewelry line, to have your brand on the world through Jeweled by Jada. How does that feel?
Well, it definitely feels good to have my own brand at such a young age, and also to have people in my space to like support me and help me throughout that.
Mhm.
So I have my bracelets, and I make it a lot of bracelets every day. My mom's always telling me, "Yo, flip, and I know it could be a little overwhelming, but I know that she means well and stuff like that. So I make plenty of different bracelets, handcrafted bracelets. I make Evil Eye bracelets. I make Marvel bracelets. I make Juneteenth bracelets. I even made certain inspired people like Angel Crease. Crease? Reese, sorry. But a basketball player or whatever, and I made her bracelet for her because I saw that she was a black girl who won the championship last year. So I
Right.
wanted to support her, especially as a black woman. So I made certain things and like inspired bracelets like that as well. And I make Juneteenth bracelets and just regular bracelets. And it feels good to like have my own brand and to be able to promote my brand and go to different pop-up shops and places, and to have like people like you and Jamila T. Davis by my side to help and support me. So
Absolutely. So let me tell you. So how does it feel? You go to, one of these places, you go to the tournament, she's this woman that you made this bracelet for and she won, right? And you see her with your bracelet on. How does that feel? Look at that smile, y'all. Did y'all see that? That smile was like, yes.
I would definitely feel good, especially since like she's up there now. Like she's really like everyone knows her and stuff like that. So it'll definitely feel good if like I saw somebody like that, have my brand on and
So what
promoting
I'm
it.
saying to everybody that's listening to the show to go to Collections by Jada, that's JAIDA.com, to see what Jada has to offer. But also what she's saying is she can build your individual bracelet based on what your needs are, right? So she's not just putting out a bracelet, a mass array of bracelets. She's literally building. It's based on themes, it's based on experiences, it's based on what the customer is asking for. And so if there's something that you have in mind or you have some special occasion coming up, I'm encouraging you to go on Collections by Jada, that's JAIDA.com, to see what she has to offer and even ask if there is an experience that you'd like to see in a bracelet that you can have her create for you. I know for me, I'm going to go do the Coaxum Connects Wellness Foundation, send her over my logo and see what she can come up with, because I really feel like it's really, putting your money where your mouth is, right? So
Right.
putting your money into her business, encouraging and inspiring her to do more. And then Jada also does, she does a lot in the community. She does a lot in her church. So she's giving back in so many other ways. And so I'm encouraging others to give back to her as well. So now you have Jewel by Jada, right? You have Here to Stay. So you're an author, you're a kidpreneur, you have your jewelry line. So what do you say to, and I know, I had you speak to the entrepreneurs over at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and a big shout out to Randy Pierce and Dana for having that 12-week experience with these amazing women that did such a phenomenal job in bringing their business into their vision into light. So, I've heard you, Jade. I've heard you inspire individuals as it relates to their business. So now that you're on the Coaxum Report, you have an opportunity to talk to so many more people. What would you say to someone that is thinking, someone that a younger person or older person is thinking about starting a business? What would be a couple of nuggets that you'd like to give to them to encourage them and inspire them to follow their dreams and be their authentic selves?
I would say to definitely grind and be consistent. And my mom always tells me to like promote my brand, because sometimes I know like in the past I'll be scared because I was shy and stuff like that. So definitely promote your brand and get your brand out there, grind and be consistent, because I know that sometimes if you're not making a lot of money at a certain point, you might lose confidence because you feel like your brand is not doing good. But definitely be consistent, and it might take a little bit of time. It might take months, years, weeks, it doesn't matter, but like just take some, like be consistent, because my brand is good, but it's not the best and it could be better. But as I keep going, it can definitely build up to get better and better and better and stuff like that. So I would just say be consistent, grind, don't give up, and promote your business as much as you can.
And then what I'm going to add, Jada, is intentional. Be intentional, right? So when we're talking about promoting our business, and there are entrepreneurs that are doing a lot of great stuff, but they don't talk about it and they don't share the experience. And so if you're quiet, especially now when everything else around you is so loud, you may get lost. And so when Jada's talking about grind and be consistent, she's also talking about be intentional with your brand. So yeah, your mom is a phenomenal woman. She got an S on her chest. She's making sure that her baby girl is doing what she needs to do, but she also understands the value of what you bring to the table with your book and with Jewel by Jada. And so she's encouraging you and inspiring you. And so for all of those that are listening to us, I want you to be encouraged and inspired by Jada today. I
Right.
want you to understand, she wants you to be on your grind and be consistent. Because if you're not consistent, you're not going to realize the true full value of the business opportunities that you may have. She's saying, talk about your brand, speak about your brand, like don't be quiet about it. And I'll say be intentional. So when you're going to events or you're talking to individuals or when you're sharing your experience with folk, you know, be intentional. Don't just go to an event just to be there. Bring whatever that item or that widget is with you to your whatever the event is, so that you can say, hey, by the way, I wrote a book and it's here to stay. Or I have, you can be wearing your jewelry, right? I've seen your bracelets, like wearing your bracelets and sharing that experience with others. And so, Jade, I want to thank you very much for sharing this experience with us today. And more importantly, being a kidpreneur, taking a chance. And I mean, you are truly amazing. You
Thank
in
you.
your book, you have so many nuggets, not just for young people, but for adults. That race and culture dynamic is real. Telling people to show up, right?
Right.
Asking them to fix to hold up their crown and not put it down, and to be their authentic self and be comfortable in who they are. That's a huge thing to do. And by writing this book, you are giving them an opportunity to reflect on their own experience and then move forward being their authentic self so that they can bring more good into the world. And so I just want to thank you so much for that. And I also want to thank you for Jewel by Jada, because you're giving people to express an opportunity to express themselves through your jewelry. It is your brainchild and it is your brand, but you're allowing them to express themselves through your jewelry. So I want to thank you so much for that.
Thank
So,
you.
Jada, any final thoughts that you want to leave with our listening audience today on the Marketplace Coaxum Report?
Well, before I say anything, I also wanted to add to the one of the things that you wanted me to share with the audience of your business is also to make sure you put your money in the right places, because I like certain things like designer stuff, and my mom's like, yo, you got to make sure that you spend your money on certain things. Like, don't spend your money on this because on Balenciaga or Nike or whatever you want, because they're not investing in you, you're investing in them, and these are people that really don't care about you. But if you invest your money in things you need, like gym memberships or like in your brand and stuff like that, eventually you're spending your money on good things and you're building up instead of wasting your money on the bad things. So I kind of took that in, and it's like I'm trying not to like buy certain things that I know I don't need. So that's another thing I would like to say
So I'm going
also.
to add to that, building wealth, right? It's important. Building wealth. So when you're spending your money and you're not allowing your money to grow, you don't get that money back. So you're putting your money, when you're putting your money into your business, you're putting your money into your future, right? You're building on your brand. So my goal, and I'm sure your mom goal, and this is why she's telling you this, is to let your money make money for you,
Right.
as
She's
opposed to putting your money into other things.
right, as like life insurance and stuff like that. Like that could really help. Like my mom has life insurance plans for me and Jaden already set, so she makes sure we're good and everything. So
That's
I really
excellent,
appreciate
because I tell my clients all the time that GoFundMe is not a life insurance plan. And so she's really imparting in you the knowledge, skills, and ability to be able to build wealth, to put things into place that'll help your money make money for you. And I think that's really, really important. And that's even another special nugget. Big shout out to Big Ebony, your mom, for really, and first of all, Ebony is an educator. So she understands the importance of making sure that she's imparting all of this knowledge into you, and you're able to impart it into others because you can see the fruits of your labor right now, and she's showing you how you can build wealth and help your money make money for you. And so I'm going to shout that out. Financial literacy is important.
right.
It's one of the most important things. And as young people, sometimes we don't get those lessons. And then when we get older, we're in a problem. We talked about in the last show, there was a time, even when I went to college, they were like, and I'm telling you right now, don't fall into this data. So there was a time when I was in college and I was at John Jay, and there were like tables, credit card tables, and you would get a t shirt or a water bottle if you filled out a credit card. I didn't have a job. There was no reason for me to be applying for no credit card with my excellent credit. And then when I got the credit card, I thought it was free money and I was spending it like such. And it wasn't until the bill became due and my credit was a wreck that I understood that that was not a good thing to expose young people to. But at your age and at your time, your mother is showing you right now that is not a good thing to do. Your credit is important to you. Let's build on it. Let's let your money make money for you. Let's make, and so those are all important tools and nuggets that are being imparted into you right now. So I want to thank Ebony for making sure that you're building wealth. I already told you, multimillionaire, so and already understanding the importance of business and putting back into your business. I say that to my business owners all the time, Jada, and sometimes they didn't understand it. One
Yeah.
thing that COVID did is made you understood that you needed to be a global business. You needed to have a website. You needed to have things in place where you can actually swipe and go online and pay through PayPal and Zelle and Venmo and all those other things when you were paying for whatever the service was. Because when brick and mortar was shut down, you had to have other options, or you no longer had a viable business.
And a lot of times some of these brands don't even care about you, or like when they invest and when they see especially black people succeed. Sometimes my mom always says, oh, these brands, they raise these prices so that it makes sure that black people cannot afford them and stuff like that. So a lot of these brands don't even care about us, and sometimes they even make designer clothes that can be like towards child predating and racist. Like some of their things that they make is not always the best either. So, just put your money in the right places, especially when you have a business. So you're not wasting your money on things you don't need.
Absolutely. Put your money in the right places. You're hearing it from the mouth of babes. We have a kidpreneur here that is spitting knowledge right now about what you should be doing as a business owner. And one of the things that she's encouraging you to do is to spend your money in a way that your money is making money for you and not just putting your money into anything. And your money has value. Your money speaks value, right? So Even the Black woman's spending power is huge, right? And so when we look at, the head of households, for most of us, we're the ones that are purchasing the grocery and the widgets and the whatever it is to keep our households going, right? Including the cars and the homes and stuff like that. And if we're spending our money with people that are spending money on us, that has value in it. And we should be asking for a whole dollar and demanding that that money be put back into our community so that we can continue to grow. And you're absolutely right. So she's saying, put your money in the right places. That is a huge nugget that Jada is dropping for us. Jada, I want to thank you again for being part of the show. For anyone
Thank you
that's
for having
coming in
me.
to listen to us, again, you can hear us on Amazon TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku. You can download the app, OurTV.network, and you can listen to us on the radio at WSTX Bloomberg. And so I would encourage you to go to Jada's website, Collections by Jada, JAIDA.com. Purchase her book, Here to Stay. This is
Thank
a
you.
huge piece for individuals that are looking at social and emotional learning, that are looking at racial discrimination, that are trying to get individuals to have more self confidence and to pour into themselves. And so it's an excellent opportunity through this book from a kidpreneur, right? And then more importantly, Jewel by Jada. So she has a lot of signature pieces that you can collect from, but you can also request, if you have something special that you want her to design for you, it's something that she can look into do it. And so, Jada, I want to thank you again for being part of the show. Please give your mom lots of hugs for me and let her know she's
Thank
doing a
you.
super amazing job with you and your brother.
Thank
And
you.
I hope to have you back on the show soon to talk about some more of the things that you're doing, because I see a lot of great things in your future. And I want to continue to encourage and inspire you to be the best person that you can be. But more importantly, put your money in the right places. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
part of the Coaxum Report. Have a super amazing day on purpose, guys. Take care.